Hello, hello. Um, Hi, it's Sunday. I don't usually go live on Sundays, but I felt compelled. Um, that's how much I'm invested in one, your success, two, telling you about just my business journey and where I am now, some lessons learned, and trying to help anybody out who's maybe in the same situation. So, hi, I'm Brandy. For folks who are new, I'm a personal stylist and a confidence coach. Basically, what that means is that I help women to feel empowered to stand in their own power, be confident about their body shapes, their body types, fit, and getting dressed with confidence and ease. So, super happy to have y'all here. I feel like I don't know, just broadcasting to the world, which is pretty exciting. So we are on YouTube right now. We are live in my free Facebook group, Style for Smart Cookies. Hi, Cookies, for those of you who are tuning in. And then also on my business page, Brandeis Nicole. So wherever you are watching from, hi and welcome. It's really, really good to see you. So I am going to have a comment stream going. Please say hi in the comments. Let me know that you're here as folks continue to jump on. I would love to say hello. We're using StreamYard, and so in the post where you could see like signing up for today or getting a reminder about how to tune in, there is like a little link there to go into StreamYard and give me permission to see your name. So if you don't do that, it just says user, and I'm like, hey, you. Which is fine if you don't want to do it, but it's a little less fun for me. So if you want to hop on over there and just say like, yes, I give StreamYard permission for Brandy to see my name, that would be great. So hi again and welcome. For those of you who are going to watch this on the replay, super excited to have y'all join as well. You can always do a hashtag replay in the comments, and that way when I go back through, if you have any questions, I can always go back through and answer those so that you still get some of the answers that you need. All right, so the former educator in me loves an agenda. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about today as more folks join in. First of all, y'all, how has your week been? It was a weird week, right? Like it was a short week. Yesterday, I thought it was Sunday, which freaked me out because I needed another day. I was not okay with it being Sunday yesterday. So lucky for me, it wasn't. Also, in the realm of TMI, your girl's having her first colonoscopy tomorrow. Welcome to 41. Good times. So just, send your love and care for me today as I prepare for that. We're on some clear broth, I think that's the move for the rest of today. Lordy. I hope you all are doing well. And thank you for joining me today. All right, so agenda. You guys are going to see me looking off to the side. I've got some notes because I like to be prepared for you. I like to give you things that you need. So you'll see me looking off to the side sometimes. I've got my notes there. I don't want to forget anything. So what are we going to talk about today? You're here because I was like, hi, I'm going to tell you about my business journey, this whole like digital course thing. Like, what is that? Should I be doing that? Should I be thinking about that? And then also some bonuses too. So let's get into it. So first off, we're going to talk about is like a little bit about my journey. So some of you may be familiar with it. Some of you may not be. Both are cool. And so how I went from like full-time in a completely different career, getting into the career that I'm in now, and kind of just like what that looked like for me, some of the challenges that I faced, some of like the things I'm really proud of, but then also like, where I am now and what's next. We're also going to be talking about my honest review of Digital Course Academy. So that's the program I signed up for last year. The doors are open again for the first time and only time this year. So some more information about that, but just my honest review on like who it's for, who it's not for, what it did for my business, and just, my thoughts on the program overall. I'm also going to be sharing with you like a sneak peek at what the course actually looks like, which I think is pretty fun. So I'm going to screen share and we'll look at my actual like members only portal. So you can actually see like how it's organized, like what you would see if you were to sign up. And just kind of get a sneak peek at like what the modules are and like just some more detail on like what the course content's actually all about. And then we're gonna, if you stick around to the end, and I hope that you do, we're not gonna be on for super long today, but sticking around, I'm also gonna do some Q&A. What? And then also just talk about like some of the bonuses that I have. So I'm a proud partner and affiliate for Digital Course Academy, which like you guys should know is not going to stop you from stop me from giving you like the lowdown and dirty on like what I liked, what I didn't, all the things. But I am a partner for the program, and so if you sign up for DCA and decide to do Digital Course Academy and to enroll in that program, it's a 12-week program, and you sign up through my link, you will actually get everything that's in Amy's program. And you will also get some exclusive bonuses where I'm your accountability partner. I take you on the journey. We do some styling as you think about like showing up for your new audience in a digital way. So lots of good stuff that you can check out there. At any time, if you're curious, you can always go to brandeisnicole.com/links, LINKS. Everything's there. One thing, like first things first, because time sensitive, Amy Porterfield, who runs Digital Course Academy, she's holding her very last masterclass for the doors being open for DCA today at noon, my time. It's 11:08 right now. So like the next hour. Here's what I will say. Even if you're like, Brandy, like IDK, right? Like, I don't know if this is right for me. I don't know if I want to do this. I believe, like, I recommend so strongly that you attend this masterclass. One, it's free 99. Two, it is a masterclass in how to teach a masterclass. I know that sounds like very meta, but she is so good at delivering content and teaching real thing. Like it's not like a fluffy sales pitch. It's not a sales pitch. You know what I mean? Like obviously she's going to invite you to join her program, but that's like 45 minutes in, right? Like it's literally like slides. Like I'm taking notes. I mean, it's just, she's like white Oprah. I said it. She has this way of delivering like sharp as attack content, like really high. I mean, and like I'm not easily impressed. I was in the education game for a very long time. I trained other master trainers on how to train other people, like, and Amy is legit. So her masterclass is on how to launch and create a digital course that will get you recurring revenue coming into your life and your business. So if you want to check that out, you can go ahead and go to brandeisnicole.com links. There'll be a link that says free masterclass and just register. There's a replay available if you register. So if you're like, Brandy, I'm not going to be doing something again with you at noon, that's fine. But if you register, you at least get the replay and you can watch it like on your own terms for the next couple days. So that's that. All right. So let's get into it. I see Afua is here. Hi, Afua. So good to see y'all. All right. So biz journey. So I was in the education nonprofit sector or education reform sector for almost 2 decades. So caught the bug, basically the social justice bug, when I was in college. I took a course called Contemporary American Schooling and the American Dream, or I mean, it was a very, I went to Brown. It was a very basket weaving title. But I took this course and read, Savage Inequalities and Push and like these like classic texts where there was just so much I didn't understand about public education and the way that that's connected to race and the way that that's connected to inequality. And it just, 17-year-old me was like, whoa, what, we allow this to go on? This is an interesting choice, America. And knew that I needed to be a part of it. So majored in education studies and Africana studies, went to grad school, got my teaching certificate and my master's. I taught for 3 years. And even at that time, I knew going in that I wanted to have a bigger impact. Classroom teaching is amazing, especially right now, y'all. Like, can we just like give it up for teachers? Like, good Lord, this virtual schooling is a thing. But I knew that even with having that one-on-one impact, I knew that I was wired to want to do more on a broader scale. And so I joined up with an organization out of New York. They were national, but it was an education consulting firm. And so they consulted with school districts, state departments of education, local education agencies to improve the quality of teacher education. And so I was really attracted to that, right? It's like, let's stop talking about the kids and their parents and the problems and the poverty and blah, blah, blah. Like, let's actually pull a lever where the person who is with your child for 7 hours a day knows what they're doing. Novel. So I did that work for, like I said, like I was with that particular organization for 9 years, but had been was in the education reform space for close to 2 decades. Colonoscopy, 41. So just in thinking about all of that, I loved the work. I loved like the impact and the scale. I was helping to run programs. We were in like 41 school districts across the country. I particularly one summer was in charge of a program that reached 2,500 teachers in the city of New York. Like scale and impact was like a thing, but I was getting so burnt out. So the thing about ed reform is like you work like Deloitte hours, like you work McKinsey Bain like consulting hours, but you don't get the pay. And like that, I mean, like I knew that going in, right? But like New York was an expensive city to live in, right? And I knew that the work was also just really taxing. Education reform, the needle doesn't move very fast. And I realized I was getting burnt out. I didn't have the same passion for it that I once did. Not that I wasn't passionate about like social justice and like equity, but my role in it, I wasn't feeling it. And I was like, it's time to pass the torch. Meanwhile, I had endometriosis. And so I was on a hormone therapy for that. And I had gained 20 pounds in 6 weeks, literally sitting on the edge of the bed, crying every single morning. Like things that fit yesterday didn't fit anymore. Whole new body. I signed up for a gym, a fancy gym. Thought that would make me go. It did. I mean, I went like 3-4 times a week. I avoided the candy bowl at work. I was doing all the things, and that weight, y'all, she wasn't moving. It was hormonal weight, and it just was my life. And so I did what I think a lot of us do. I didn't know it at the time what I was doing, but I was punishing myself for gaining the weight by not investing in myself anymore, right? So, but what I mean by that is like, I wouldn't spend more than like $25 on a pair of anything for this new body. I was like, no, you don't get the good stuff. We're not going to be doing this for long. So these, sale rack, bargain basement, houndstooth work pants, y'all know what I'm talking about, in 2004. No, sorry, it was like 2006 at this point. But like, work pants from Ann Taylor. I was like, these will do. And that was it. And my wardrobe was so boring and so sad. Like things fit, but I was sad. And it's this vicious cycle, right? Where you're like, well, I don't feel good. And now I also don't look good. But your brain doesn't know how to separate the two, right? You're just like, it's all a mess. And so I stayed in that place of just beating myself up constantly and not investing in myself with my wardrobe for about probably 4 or 5 months, and the weight wasn't coming off. And so when the next season came around and I had to get into a place of thinking about buying clothes again because the weather had changed, I was like, we're not doing this again. Like didn't enjoy this fall and winter. Spring is here. And I have a choice to make. And I decided to bet on myself. I gave myself an alter ego. I called her Bigger Brandeis. And I was like, Bigger Brandeis, you and I are going shopping today and we're getting some good stuff. And that was actually the beginning. I'd always been into fashion and style, but as someone who had been the exact same size basically my entire adult life, I had the luxury, right? Like I had the thin privilege of just like putting stuff on and rocking it, right? And so now that I was contending with like rolls and squidgy bits and bodies, right? Like just real normal body stuff. I had to now think differently about fit. I never thought about fit before. I thought about cuteness and style and if I liked it. And so that was truly for me the beginning of my journey as a personal stylist, where I actually had to figure out not just is it cute when I wear it, but am I going to look good in this body, and actually like respecting the body that I had enough to say she can look cute too. And so that's been basically the underpinning of style for me, the underpinning of my business, the underpinning of what I bring to the table when I work one on one with someone, of what I bring to the table when I work with women at a larger scale. It's about the confidence that comes from the repeatable action, seeing yourself look good in clothing and actually believing that there's clothing out there for you. And that's difficult sometimes. Like when you're in that dressing room for the 49th time, trying to find a pair of jeans that fits, you're like, oh, well, it's me. Like, obviously, it's me, right? Like, I see people walking around in jeans, they look good. I don't. So, like, common denominator is me. And helping women to understand fit and finding them that super flattering high rise pair of jeans where they get to go, OMG, and to see that look on their face when they look in the mirror, and you can see it, y'all. Like I'm hanging in the dressing room and they stand a little taller. They kind of check themselves out a little bit. There's like a little bit of a smile, and it's like, there she is. That is everything for me. That is everything. So fast forward, that's a little bit of like how I got into, I had to style myself for the first time in like a real way with fit in mind. I started styling other people, like just like for fun, right? I was just like, you got a wedding to go to? Let me find you some dresses. I didn't understand at the time that was a skill. Like I thought people just were busy, they didn't have time, but they could do it. I didn't know that like actually that was a skill. So fast forward again, ended up working with Stacey London from What Not to Wear, ended up leaving education, doing the business full time for 5 years, and then 2 years ago went back to working full time somewhere else and also doing my business. So in that 5 years, I learned a lot. I doubled my revenue every year for the last 3 years of my business. And that sounds amazing. And like, listen, I'm really proud of that because it took a lot of hard work. But at the end of the day, I was basically just back up to where I had been with my like corporate salary, right? And I was like hustling. I mean, hustling. And I was like, there has to be a better way. There has to be a better way. And so my mind went back to scale, right? Like as an educator, it was what I was passionate about. Like, yes, loved the one-on-one with like my students or with like, teaching a new teacher, but also loved teaching en masse, right? Like I was a grad school adjunct professor, like, like just teaching larger groups of people how to find success. And that's what lights me up. So I hit what I call like this entrepreneur wall, right? It's this wall where you realize at a certain point to scale your business, you either have to jack your prices up, way up, with about the same number of people you're currently serving, or you have to find a crap ton more people to work with. And like, that's a lot of hours. And like, neither one of those sounded appealing to me. I had raised my prices triple fold in the 5 years that I worked. And that's something like I'm happy to talk to y'all about at any point. If you have a business, pricing is always something you're going to be thinking about. And it always changes. And there's no magic formula. I've worked with pricing consultants and I've learned a ton. So I have a lot to say on the topic of how you price your services, which we can save for another time. But I was, I went from charging, like $350 for a service to $5,000 for a service. And it was still like, should I Airbnb my apartment this month to make rent? So I was getting so burnt out with that, and just that feast or famine cycle of like, where the money coming from? And so I moved to Houston and wanted like, less expensive cost of living in New York, but also just like a slower pace. And I remember very, very clearly sitting on my patio, which is a luxury if you ever lived in New York, like outside space. Oh my God. And it was like 72 degrees, balmy in like the end of February, beginning of March. I'm sipping a drink, watching this gorgeous painted sky sunset. And I knew in like, I think either 3 or 4 weeks, I was going to get on my road show. I had these things called style tours where twice a year I would go out to about 6 to 8 different cities, the markets where my clients were, and I would just do a blitz of like one-on-one. I would spend anywhere from 1 to 2 days with each of my clients, get them what they needed, get them set up for the season. And I loved doing that. I loved helping them and getting them what they needed for 4 to 6 months, which is, I think, pretty awesome. But being out of my house for 22 days straight in 6 cities, in New York, it was like, yeah, you hustle. That's what you do. And then in Houston, I was like, yeah, this situation is real nice. And like, I don't want to get on a plane right now. And I love my clients. Like, it had nothing to do with them, everything to do with the fact that to scale my business, it just meant working more. And I was like, this isn't, I bet there's something else. So that's when I started thinking about online stuff, right? Like, it made sense to me. Took me a little while to, I couldn't figure out like how to do it though, right? Like, okay, I know online, but what's the formula? And I didn't want to like mess around with it. It was like, we need to figure this out. I didn't have time to waste. And so as luck or divine intervention would have it, I found out about the program, Digital Course Academy. I'd seen Amy Porterfield's like webinars and stuff around. I'd actually taken a couple. I remember taking screenshots and like copious notes because, again, she's very good at her job. Like teaching, like she teaches you real things, even for free. You're like, oh, I'm gonna take that and run with it right now. And so she did a live stream, which I think she's going to do again this Wednesday. And it was like a talk show. She had like former students come on and they just talked about like their experiences. And I was like, these are real people. I mean, like legit, like not like, oh, she's a real person, but she also like, I don't know, like is independently wealthy and does this for fun. You know what I mean? Like, no, like these are like women with kids, women without kids, but like women who were just like trying to make it work. And it was so inspiring. And so I gave Amy all my money and made it all back. And it's been pretty great. So digital courses, like, let's talk. For me, it was the answer. It was the roadmap to how to scale my business and have the impact that I wanted and make the income that I wanted. And I think those two things often feel like a Sophie's choice when you're in business. It's like you're gonna get one or you're gonna get the other. And the income one, like usually not, like it's hard, right? It's really hard. And so she has this like really proven system, and it was really attractive to me. She's very ethical in her marketing. There was nothing that felt like, ooh, like, am I gonna have to do that? You know what I mean? Like, it's not gross, it's not icky. I will also say, I'm clearly not going to be about following someone or learning from them if there's like a whole bunch of like white privilege, like tone deaf, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I will say, like, Amy has put in the work. She was not, shall we say, as woke maybe as she like, could have been. It never came across like in her business or in any of her teachings or anything. But when after George Floyd's murder, she was like, oh, I have some work to do. Not, in her life, in her business, and it has not been performative. It has not been like cute, for the moment. And I think that's really important. Because there are plenty of people I stopped following, or like, we don't need to do this anymore. And Amy, she lives a life with integrity, and it's just really inspiring. So that's Amy P. She's got a proven track record, and I liked how like methodical her teaching was. She's super type A by her own admission. So I'm going to get into it and kind of show you like some of the modules and how things are organized. It's probably the best laid out, most organized course, online or in person, that I've ever taken. And that may sound like a very big statement, and I'm not trying to be dramatic. Like, it's just true. A lot of these things, I go on webinars or I like look at people's stuff, And it just looks like they've just like thrown like an Excel spreadsheet together in the middle of the night. And they're like, pay me for this. And I'm like, what is happening? So she over delivers in a way that like I found to be really helpful. So there's that. Let's get into it. I'll show you quickly what it looks like. And hold on a second. Okay. So when you first log in, so when you first log in, you can actually have it bookmarked. It says like Amy Porterfield's DCA, because I'm in there a lot. So this is like your members area. This is your portal. It's through, she hosts her courses on a platform called Kajabi, which is also now what I use. You can do memberships there, courses, like all the things. So you log in. Sorry, let me just switch screens. Okay. So you log in, and we will. Hold on. Okay. So we're signing in. So welcome to your course library. And so as you can see here, it's like just super easy. She also does like these bonuses and mini trainings. I mean, like, there's so many things that she offers, like that she doesn't advertise, far and above the value of what you get in DCA. And that's something I've really appreciated. So let's view Digital Course Academy. It's like super easy, y'all. There's no, like, if you're like, I don't get tech, I don't understand things, where do I go? It like could not be easier. So here you go. So she does like little intro videos. That's Amy. I think she's just like the cutest. And then here are the modules. So let's just like quickly go through like, what do you get in this course? So obviously she's going to welcome you. Module 1, the 7 key decisions. Some of you took her up on the sneak peek of like seeing this while she was launching or is in the process of like opening the doors for DCA. She helps you understand the 7 key decisions you need to make to figure out what to teach. And I think for a lot of folks, they're like, I have an idea. I don't really know if it's right. And so what I love about this is she's like, I will help you get there. And I think that that's really important. So like none of this is you just like sitting around like wondering if stuff's going to work out. She walks you through step by step how to make those decisions in your business. It's pretty darn cool. Pre-selling and validating your course. This is actually new. The validation has always been there, but 2020 version of DCA, and as an alumni, I get access every single time she updates her course. I get lifetime access for free. So validating your course has always been there. What that means is, why go through all the work of like putting together this course, pouring in your blood, sweat, and tears, and going to sell it, and like nobody wants it? That would be devastating. So validating your course is she walks you through her process of actually figuring out who your target ideal client is, talking to her or him, like getting on some calls, doing some, like there's a ton of ways to do it. And then like validating, like, is this what people want? So before you go through the process of like banging out a whole course, you're listening to your potential client. And she or he might tell you stuff where you're like, oh snap, I am on the wrong track. But it's so valuable to know that then and not later. So she walks you through how to do that. Pre-selling your course. Once you validated it, pre-sell it. Be like, hey, and again, she does this with integrity. You basically are just like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this course. I don't know all the ins and outs of it yet, but it's going to be about this, this, and this. And here are the results and the benefits that I'm really confident you'd walk away with. Are you interested? People will give you their money because the value proposition of what you've laid out, if you have the right like crew, the right tribe, the right audience, they will come with you for the ride because you've built up trust and credibility in a way that she teaches you how to do throughout. Love that. So you're basically like making some money to keep reinvesting in your business and paying yourself for the time that you're going to be putting into doing this course, while also building this trust and credibility with your audience and making sure that what you're going to sell them is something that they really truly want to buy. And then you have a proof point, and that's a huge confidence booster. The art of outlining your course, like y'all, when I say step by step, Amy P does not mess around. Like, you will not have any questions about how to do this. Um, it's really, 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 really clear. Pardon me. And she also has some things that like make it fun, like post-its or do this, or like there's different like learning modalities. I think she's really good at getting into that. Digital Course Academy sales page blueprint. So a sales page, I'm going to quickly go over to this. A sales page is a place where people can read your stuff, and you're going to talk about like what you're doing. You're going to talk about yourself. You're going to like give them some sense of possibility. You're going to tell them what the program contains, and you're going to have a lot of ways for them to buy, right? So, you know, the art of doing that, like y'all, like what you're looking at right now, I created myself. I am not a tech person. Like, tech literally gives me hives. Like like y'all, it does. It does. So, you know, to be able to put something like this together is like pretty amazing. And so if you're like me and you're like, what with this tech? Like, how is that going to happen? There's an entire tech library of resources, like videos, I mean, like everything you could need to figure out how to build your digital business online. It's pretty darn amazing. There's also a free Facebook group that she has for her DCA students. And what you need to remember about that is that there's also really seasoned entrepreneurs who have launched digital courses before. So you get the benefit of not only like Amy being in there like pretty much all the time, every day, and her team, but being able to ask questions of people who've been where you are, have made the mistakes, have figured it out, and you get help right away. All right, the profitable webinar presentation. So if you join that masterclass, it's happening in half an hour, and we're going to finish up here in just about 10 minutes. If you join that masterclass, you will see how she does this. In DCA, she will teach you how to do it for yourself. A webinar basically is a free training that you give that teaches people something. Like, first and foremost, it is not a sales pitch. It gives people value and teaches them something. Then they've gotten an idea of how to have a quick win because you've taught them something of value. They've gotten an idea of how possible it is for them, and they've gotten an idea of your teaching style and your vibe and whether or not they want to like have you be their teacher. Then you invite them to whatever your program is. And she teaches you how to do that in a way that, again, it is not icky. It is not weird. She even says stuff of like, she has one slide about like who she is. She's like, people are not interested in like, and my husband and my 4 kids and my dog. And then this one time, like, she's like, let's get to the training. And I love that. All right. And then rounding it out with crafting your email sequences and recording your course. So what I really love about DCA is it just like, y'all, there's no question that I've had about not just courses, but digital marketing that has not been answered through DCA or the Facebook group. So like that is that's pretty powerful. Like I don't feel the need to continue like hunting and pecking around the internet for like this guru and that expert and like this course and like, you know, this $47 whatever. Like it's so comprehensive, and the value that she delivers and the support that you get has been like really amazing. So in terms of the support, what she also does in DCA is she goes live in that Facebook group 4 times per week doing Q&A, and she will stay on until every single question that her students have submitted is answered. I used to like binge watch those, or like kind of do like almost like a podcast. Like I wouldn't like watch the video, but I would just listen to the audio on like walks or when we commuted places. And learning from other people's questions was so helpful for me, because it's like if you're starting out, you don't know what you don't know yet. And you would hear people ask questions and you're like, oh, that's where I'm headed. That's what I need to know. It's pretty darn great. So I hope you enjoyed that little sneak peek, who it's for and who it's not. It is for you if you have any inkling of wanting to build recurring revenue in a business. You don't need to have a business. You don't need to like know exactly what you would teach. You do need to have something where someone's ever asked you, like, how did you do that? So if you've gotten results for yourself with like a process, that could be anything from like how to train your dog to like how to cut curly hair to how to do taxes to consulting on things that like your stuff. So if you have gotten results for yourself or for someone else, like you've helped someone else along a journey, then I would say DCA is for you, because it's going to teach you how to scale that and how to deliver it in a way that's profitable, has like maximum impact and reach, and adds recurring revenue to your income stream. And with recurring revenue comes freedom to get out of that hustle and that grind. Who DCA is not for, it's not going to be for people who aren't going to put in the work, right? Like just because you get to a place of like recurring revenue, which is awesome, doesn't mean you're chilling. I don't think that's anyone who's watching, right? Like if you're interested in it, you're probably already doing something and you're probably spinning your wheels, or you've been like thinking about it for so long that the mental energy you've been spending in that way could be applied to just doing the thing in a proven method and like making some money and having some impact. I would say it's also sorry, totally lost my train of thought. It's also not for you if you have like, I'm going to do a caveat here, like 0 email list. Amy says you should have 250 people on your email list. Here's the thing with that. Like she also teaches you how to build an email list. So like if you are like, I'm going to build my list with Amy's teaching at the same time as I'm going to build a course, you could totally do it. But if that feels like funky to you and you want to like focus on list building first, she does have a course for that as well. And I can give you the link to that if you want. But I would say like, don't let that hold you back. Type in questions if you guys have them. I'll go through a few that I've heard. So like, let's talk about the tech. Like someone's like, I am a non-tech person. Yeah, I was terrified, y'all. Like I would see these salespeople and be like, how do people do that? Who are you hiring? I don't have the budget for that. And like I'm not saying it's not work, right? Like there are times where I'm like, oh my God, like, why won't this load? Or why won't that, but like the Facebook group isn't like there are times where I've just gone into that Facebook group at whatever hour of the day and been like, help, I'm trying to do XYZ. It's not working. And like 5 people will be like, did you try this? How about this? People will make you videos. They like one woman, y'all, I was just typed in something. I was like, I'm really confused. I'm like pulling my hair out. Someone named Lucy was like, hey, I'm like just feeding my kids dinner, but like if you have time in half an hour, do you want to just like jump on Zoom and I'll show you? I was like, yes, please. I mean, like the community is amazing. So like, don't let the tech become a source of overwhelm or a reason not to do this. Like you have a ton of support. I'd say other things like the general overwhelm of 2020. Like, can we just talk about that? Where it's like, I don't have time for one more thing. I get that. I also would challenge you to think about the fact you get lifetime access to this course. So when I joined DCA, it opened in September, like it is now. I knew from what I had on the books with my full-time job and my one-to-one client work that I was not touching DCA until November. So I watched her like Q&As, but I didn't even look at module 1, y'all. I was like, DCA, I'll get back to you. And that was okay. Like I had a roadmap for myself and it didn't have to be like rush, go. But I also knew she only opened it up 1 time a year. And I was like, I'm not waiting a year to stay on this hamster wheel. I'm not, no, ma'am. And so I was like, I'm going to buy this business and like work it on my own time. And like, you have to believe in your ability to make your investment back. And I did. And if you're unsure about that, we can hop on a call and I can like help you think about like what you might offer, how you might price it. I mean, Amy goes through all of that. But if that's like a hiccup for you, and you're like, ooh, the money, I don't know, we can talk about that. I will also be perfectly honest with you if I'm like, girl, it doesn't sound like this is the right time. I will tell you that, and you can count on that. So those are a couple of the most common questions of just like the tech, and like I already have a lot on my plate. And I'm not trying to downplay that. Like, folks are like running schools out of their living room. I mean, like 2020 is wild, wild. But I will also say, where I'm trying to keep my head is like, but how do I want to roll into 2021? Because if there are things in my life that are within my control, like how much money I make, and like to some extent, like where I put my time and energy to make that money and to have the impact that I want, if there was an easier way to do that on my own time, why would I not do that? So that is what I will leave y'all with. So thank you so much for tuning in. I will go ahead and put that link up again if you do want to hop on over to Amy's masterclass. Again, if you can't watch it live, totally fine. She does some like live, like you get like a bonus like thing, but like the content is good enough that like even if you're like, Brandy, I don't think the digital course thing is for me, I still recommend watching it, like just for the free stuff that she will teach you that you can start implementing now. In either in your business, or if you don't have a business and you're just like, I don't know, but like, what does good teaching look like? You could probably use that at work tomorrow. So definitely check that out. Look for my link that says free masterclass, and like hit me up in email or in DMs or in chat and let me know what you thought. I'm always so curious about like how it lands with different people, what it sparked for you, what resonated, and all that good stuff. So thank you all so much for joining in. Again, if you're watching this on the replay, I've got love for my replay folks too. And if you do go ahead and comment, just do that hashtag replay so that I can get back to you in the comments and answer any questions that you may have. All right, that is all for today, y'all. Have an amazing rest of your day. Go out there and crush it, whether it's with a digital course or not. Go out there and crush it, like live your life. Make your, just create that space for the life that you want. Create that space for the life that you want, for the life that you love. Just keep working on that. All right, talk soon. Bye.